Hey guys, Carla Reeves here. Let me try to adjust this camera. I'm not the greatest with this stuff. Anyway, wanted to talk about a subject that not a lot of people may talk about. Anyway, wanted to talk about grief and um, losing a ex partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, life partner of domestic violence. Now, this can go for husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, life partner, or even a parent. So, I'm going to be talking about, I don't know who's in here, but hi. Let me try to set up my laptop so I can see the chat on here. Wanted to talk about some of the things that you go through when um, someone that's abusive to you, um, when someone's abusive to you, oh, good morning, wow. Um, I want to, let me repeat myself again. I'm a little scatterbrained, forgive me. I wanted to do a video today um, on what people go through with grieving the loss of an ex, whether it's a life partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, roommate situation, or whoever the person is that you care about that's abusive with domestic violence. And yes, good morning. Um, Let me turn my volume down on the laptop so I'm not hearing myself. That's why I'm getting distracted. Anyway, oh, doggone it. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, geez. Okay, now what did I do? I'm probably upside down now. Oh, shoot. I'm having a Friday, ain't I? Should I keep going or start this thing over? Sorry about that, guys. Drop the camera. Giving everybody a little bit of blonde entertainment, right? Anyway, wanted to do a video talking about the abuse and the emotions you feel when someone that has abused you in your past has died. And I'll use my life story. Let's see, ex-violent told me the one that would end up killing. I see, let me read that again. Got my reading glasses on and sometimes I can't see what I'm saying. But anyway, I will never grieve over my violent ex. Uh, Ended up killing himself and never seen him again. Yeah, I hear you on that one. With me, um, what was it? Wednesday, my ex of 20 years, my daughter's biological dad, he passed away. And I felt a lot of different feelings, and I didn't want to go in the house while he was dying because I know a lot of people or his family members believed what he said about me, and that's whatever. That's whatever makes you sleep good at night. You know what I mean? And so I wouldn't go in while I was in there, but I knew. Now, I'm not talking about Kentucky Ranger. Kentucky Ranger adopted Victoria, my daughter, Tori, and he's an awesome dad to her. And a lot of the family feel like I stole his daughter from him, such as bringing her to Kentucky, where both of her family members are. And I tell you what, it's the grieving part. I didn't expect that I would cry, but I think I cried out of relief. He'll never stalk me again. He'll never abuse me again, emotionally, mentally, physically, even. And even though I left him, yes, Kentucky Ranger is an awesome guy. So everybody hit the like button and uh, well, we ain't supposed to say the S word, but anyway, check out Kentucky Ranger's channel. He is a good father. He adopted my daughter at the age of 14. Sorry, I'm going jumping around from subject to subject, and I've been researching this aspect of grief, and of course, there's uh, no part. I haven't found anything on YouTube, and there's very little on the web about this kind of grief. Okay, because there's all kinds of grief. There's death of a loved one that you love, there's death of a pet, and there's death of a child. I mean, there's so many grieving aspects. And me and my sister-in-law, Cherie Carpenter, guys, I'm giving her a shout out. Next Tuesday at 7 Kentucky time, Central, I think Central time, we will be doing a live stream. So guys, check it out, and we'll be talking about this very subject, and I'll be talking about what I'm going through right now, grieving my ex. I know that's unexpected emotions that I didn't think I'd be feeling or even talking about, because after you've been out of an abusive marriage, well, it wasn't a marriage, but I considered it a marriage. But the relationship, you still have residual feelings of something, okay? Because the daughter he and I had together, there was love there at one time. But when somebody abuses you so much, uh, I mean, you go through so many different stages. And right now, I'm going through quite a bit, and Kentucky Ranger is my rock. He is just awesome, guys. Because, hey, good morning, good morning. Ain't that something? Hey, Shannon, welcome. I'm saying that correct, right? Because I am dyslexic in my reading too, so forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, okay? Um, Anyway, I'm talking about the subject of domestic violence. Let's see. I hear you on that one. Yeah. Amen. That not a lot of people have talked about, and it's grief of an ex partner or whatever the person is to you, or even a parent that has been abusive physically, emotionally, financially, just abusive altogether. And I wanted to talk on it, on some of the things you might feel, okay? Because now I have found websites that talk about grief and healing, and I've been working on my next trilogy book on like bruises from within. Now that is the current abuse book that is coming out, and I tell about my 20 years of domestic violence. That book is out any day now, guys. Wonder what it will feel like not to fear him finding me. Well, I think I can answer that question because my ex just died Wednesday. We were over there at the house, and I'll try not to be lengthy, but at the same time, I think this live stream will help so many people that is dealing with this very subject, because it's like a taboo subject. Not a lot of people talk about, when the ex, let me just say spouse, for instance, and that can go for girlfriend, boyfriend, or domestic partner, or what have you, life partner. Um, when somebody is abusive, you go through a lot of the same grief grief things, such as a loving partner, but it's different feelings of abuse. And with me, I have been expecting my ex, and I'll try not to say his name because heaven forbid if his family sees this video, they won't think too kindly of me making it. But I look at it like this: the truth is the truth, They weren't there in the 20 years behind closed doors, because a lot of times the abuser will have two, almost like two split personalities, and they'll treat you one way in public, like you're in church, metaphorically speaking. They'll treat you well, and they'll open doors for you. Or, this is just an example of my life. Now, I'm not talking about Kentucky Ranger. I'm talking about my ex. I'll call him Roy. But a lot of times, people will see the outside, what they project. And I always said Roy was Mr. Showmanship, because Buddy, he knew how to metaphorically put on the suit and tie always out in public, and seeming to treat me like a queen, which behind closed doors, all bets were off. Things were absolutely, totally, totally different. And hey, thank you guys for sharing your uh, your stories and your comments. I appreciate that, guys, and I'll try to address those as I go. Sorry, I'm a little bit bouncing on subjects, but this really needs to be talked about, because so many people experience this. Now, with me, this is what I'm going through, the grief I'm going through. Of course, I've known for maybe a couple of years that he was dying of cancer. And the empathetic side of me, I'm very compassionate. Oh my goodness, I hate to hear that he's dying of cancer and that he will be, in pain and stuff. Now, that's just my personality, and it's okay to feel. A lot of people might feel, and when I left Roy, I'll call him Roy, when I left Roy, I didn't cry. And I thought, I will probably cry when I leave him. Didn't shed one single tear. Now, I did suffer a lot of stress and a lot of panic attacks, because he stalked me for a long time. And at the same time, you as a parent, if you have a child with that person, you're thinking, I've got to keep a calm and cool head for the child to make the right decisions at all times. And believe me, I made a lot of mistakes, but I made a lot of mistakes out of fear also. And like I say, I'm working on my second book, From Bruises from Within. Now, this is the second book, what I'm talking about right now. It's going to be called Healing from Within, and it's going to be a trilogy. Um, After church, we'd drive to Speedy part of town. Seedy, seedy part of town. He purchased a magazine. Oh my goodness. Oh, Shannon. You know what he was doing by doing that kind of stuff? He, in my opinion, now I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that. I want to tell everybody. So the the advice I'm giving is just from my perspective and from what I've been through. Okay, so now this is just my opinion. Okay, so I want everybody to know that I'm no kind of doctor, psychiatrist, or sociologist, or anything like that. Okay, I'm just a housewife, that's given a little insight to things I went through. Now, the things you may go through is a little different, but by him, in my opinion, buying those guns and stuff, he was instilling psychological fear in your head, and those are head games, because I'm sure you must have felt, well, what's he going to do with those guns? What did you feel when he purchased those guns and magazines and things? How did you feel about that? Because that right there, they don't have to always come out and say, uh, you know, um, uh, I'm going to beat you up, or I'm going to kill you if you leave me. Now, let me tell you one of the statements my ex told me right after I left, which I was stupid to call him, but at the same time, I felt like I needed to let him know about our daughter. And I always say, if you're in a domestic violence shelter, follow their advice to the T. I mean, follow their advice. So I had to keep him a little bit updated of Victoria was safe and this kind of stuff because after all he's got rights too, unless there's special circumstances, unless there's drug abuse, alcohol abuse in front of the child, if the child is endangered in any way, psychologically, physically, sexually, or even your abuse. You do have the right to protect your child, get an EPO, and yourself. Because when you get an EPO, that EPO, that is a restraining order, that protects your child as well as you. Because if your life is in danger, you got to protect your child. But always try to follow the law as best you can. Don't break the law because it could cost you custody of your child. But fortunately, we did not have children together. Yes, that is a blessing. Yes. But with my ex, getting back to talking about when he passed away, now our daughter was in the room with him when he passed because we had gotten word that it's 30 years. Honey, I tell you, even if it's 30 years, it'll still be with you. The the scars of abuse. It'll always be with you because, like me, mine has been since 2001 and it's 2018. It's hard to believe it's been 17 years since I've been out of that domestic violence situation. You will always have some type of scars from your abuse. No matter if you're getting therapy, which therapy I would suggest, that was my little cat, little bear. Um, I would suggest because it helps you deal with the situation, and you have got so much emotion maybe that you've not dealt with. Now mine came in different little waves the day that he died. I didn't expect when I walked in the room because I needed that closure. Now, a lot of people may not have done what I did, such as go in to see his body, but I needed that closure. I needed it for me. And I stood there and I looked at him and I touched his arm because I had to let myself know, hey, Carla, he's really gone. So I touched his arm and I looked at him and I began to cry. And I was surprised at my own emotion because it's like a volcano erupting inside with tears. And I just broke down and cried. And I said, and I'll call him Roy. Roy, I'm really sorry. And I was thinking to myself, you know, I don't have to say I'm sorry to you, but inside I was saying UOSOB, you know what, all of the bad words. It, amen. Wow, you're exactly spot on. The emotional scars stay with you forever. And I looked at him and I said, Roy, I'm really sorry for everything I did. And see, I got to say that to him while he was alive, but I could tell he was still bitter with me. And I told him, I said, I will always love the fact and treasure and cherish the fact that we had our daughter. That was the greatest thing that come out of our relationship. And I did a lot of things wrong. And I got to say my piece a couple of months ago to him on the phone. It was like a 13-minute call, but I tried not to, say too much. And I don't feel like I really owed him that. And I'm I'm not saying that out of arrogance, but I'm saying that out of I was a victim and I blamed myself for our relationship going wrong. I blamed myself for the violence, the emotional abuse, the psychological abuse. I blamed me for all of it, every aspect of it. And I've been talking to a counselor for quite a while since I got out. I'm not ashamed to admit that, guys, and there's no shame in seeing a counselor, psychiatrist, or whatever, but you need support of some kind of support on dealing with even just getting out of the abuse, whatever kind of abuse you suffered. It's not your fault. You're a victim. But I say I'm a survivor. So let me rephrase that, guys. You are a survivor for getting out. It took courage. It took courage to get out. We were married 2 years, but we lived together 9 months at a time. Well, hey, no matter if it's a short time or not, that abuse, yeah. Oh, bless you, honey. Bless your heart. That is really hard to have EMDR. Oh, baby, that my heart goes out to you because people may not understand, and I've heard a lot of times people say, well, you can just get out of the abuse, you can do this or you can do that. But the truth is, when somebody psychologically is playing some serious head games with you on abuse or whatever your abuse you're going through, psychological, financial, sexual abuse, any kind of abuse you're going through, they get in your head and it really messes up your thinking because I thought like a victim for many years. I'm a survivor, just like you are a survivor. And you can get out of these situations. Well, getting back to me looking at Roy's dead body, I looked at him and it just washed over me all of the memories of the abuse, memories of good times, because there were good times, and I saw the good in Roy. I knew he could be a good, compassionate person, but it was like a blink of an eye, and he was somebody else. Uh, a lot of times with abuse goes, they have a drug problem. There's some type of problem in there. Now, Roy, he was self-medicating with alcohol. He was an alcoholic. He woke up with a beer and he went to bed with a beer in his hand. So he couldn't stop. And the times that he did stop, oh man, you talking about a roller coaster? When he would stop drinking, uh, I lost two of my friends through domestic violence. We were so scared to leave. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, Jessie, how are you doing? I miss you, lady. Long time no see. You guys, you need to check out everybody's channel. Check out Miss Jessie's channel. Check out Wow Really's channel. Oh, okay, okay. Well, how's little Hot Wheels doing? Hot Wheels Colin doing? That's the nickname I gave her little boy. Well, you give him hugs and kisses from Miss Carla, okay? I'm talking about domestic violence. Guys, everybody check out everybody's channel and hit the like button, hit the love button, guys. And if you're not subscribed to me, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, I said that subscribe word. It's not a subscribe for scribe or bus for bus, y'all. But let's support each other's channel, check each other's channel out. Great, he's got a new 15. Oh, nice. Very nice. Fantastic. Well, you give him hugs and kisses from Aunt Carla, okay? Because I miss you guys, and I always wonder how you guys are doing. But getting back to me talking about the grieving of an ex that was abusive, domestic violence. Sorry about the jumping around from subject to subject, guys, but you know, you know me, guys, but I try to hit all of the things that I'm talking about. And I appreciate everybody being here. Welcome, everybody. We're a good YouTube family. Everybody check out everybody. But a lot of times people don't understand uh, the effects that an abusive wife, husband, I mean, because guys get abused too, whether it's a life partner or even a parent. So we're covering a different subject of grief, grieving an ex, or grieving someone that was abusive to you. And because I haven't found anything on YouTube now, not to say that it doesn't exist, talking about this very subject. Well, when I looked at Roy's, I'm calling him Roy, Roy's body, there's so many things I felt. Uh, thank you for talking about this. Yeah, my sister-in-law, Cherie Carpenter, check her out, guys. She is, next Tuesday, her and I are tag teaming, talking about this very abuse, and I'll be talking about more of what I've been going through emotionally, dealing with the closure. I should call it maybe closure of um, dealing with an ex. And so I'll mainly talk about the things that I'm going through. And I am seeing a counselor on this issue because, when you get out of domestic violence, no matter who you are, you're going to have some scars, and it's still going to shadow you like a shadow. But I'm a survivor, and anybody that gets out of domestic violence of any kind is a survivor. You start to survive. And this is one subject that I feel like is very, very, very important. I was abused many times between sexual and physical, and in a good spot now and mentally. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you on that, honey. Jesse, I'm here to support you, hon. And if you ever need to talk, I feel like I'm a good listener. And I'm so sorry for the abuse that you've gone through because it's hell and people just don't understand. So many times I've had people say, "Well, Carla, the door goes both ways, honey," and it's so dismissive. But until you've been in that person's um, uh, abusive situation, whatever it is, and me personally, now this is just my opinion, but I think emotional abuse is the hardest thing to deal with because it's like they're brainwashing you. I've been told you got yourself in, now get yourself out. Amen, honey. I've had people to say the first month that I left with Roy, I'm calling him Roy, okay, guys? Um, my dad said to me when I wanted to leave this situation, I said, "Daddy, please, I need to get out of this relationship." And I was 16 years old. I was living in Texas at the time. And my daddy told me, "Carla, you made your bed. You're a big girl and lay in it." And that's horrendous to tell a little girl of 16 years old. I just had turned 17. Well, you wanted to play adult, honey. So you made your bed, so you got to lay in it. No, that's wrong. When somebody calls you, if you have a daughter or a son or a stepchild that says, "Please, mommy, can I come home? I'm in an abusive situation." They may not even say that. They may just say, "Things aren't working out with the relationship. Can I come home?" Please, please, whatever you do, don't turn them away. And even more so if they're pregnant, don't turn that person away in your family because you could make the difference between life and death because they need somebody. They're reaching out for a lifeline. I reached out to my dad and I stopped speaking to him for quite a few years because I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle that. It's like That is shaming and blaming a victim, because when my daddy told me that I could not come back home, I begged on the phone and I begged. I said, Daddy, please let me come back home. I promise I'll pay you rent, because I was going to go back to my job I had at the flower shop, because I was working right out of high school and in high school. I have no contact with him, so I don't know when he dies except for periodically public searches. And he's been married 2 more times. Oh, yeah. Um, but the reason I stayed in contact, or half tried to, is because of the daughter we had. And like I say, Kentucky Ranger, he adopted our daughter. And, I had to follow the laws of Kentucky because he had a right to see her. And I tried to uh, keep the open lines of communication, which, I had Kentucky Ranger backing me up, and he said, Carla, I'll never let him hurt you or anything. You're my wife, and he's got me to deal with if he even thinks about talking ugly to you or anything else. And let me tell you what, Kentucky Ranger really, he backed it up, because my ex stalked me for a long time. And in the book that I'm writing, I write about everything else he did. I mean, he totally messed up my credit, my ex. And now I, that's one of the reasons I moved away back to Kentucky. But I sought out an attorney before I do that. I would suggest, if you have children with this abusive person, whether it's a life partner or a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, if you have children with this person, I would suggest you talk to an attorney, talk to legal aid, but don't break the laws taking the child out of state with without seeking counsel, because they have a right as a parent. You cannot alienate your child from the other parent. Now, if there's special circumstances, such as if he's sexually molested your child, beat your child, uh, drug abuse, now you have to be very careful and follow the law, but get permission from the courts to take your child out of state if it means their safety and your safety. But make sure you follow the court system. Oh, that's good. That made it easier. No children sharing. Uh, but anyway, you have to definitely follow the law, because you cannot alienate your child just out of spite. And let me give you an example, such as, well, he's not going to be around our baby, blah, blah, blah. No, he has rights as a parent also. So no matter what you feel, they've got rights unless there's special circumstances, okay? So always talk to legal aid if you're trying to get out or what have you, and especially if you have kids. So I'm talking about the feelings of grief and everything that goes with it. And me and my sister-in-law, Cherie Carpenter, next Tuesday at 7 Central Time, Central Time, we will be having a live stream together, and this is the subject we will be talking about more in depth about grief, because her and I have been doing videos together about grief and stuff. So, guys, I think this is a very important topic to talk about. So, I'm just hitting right now what I'm going through with the grief, and it's been really tough. Uh, I'm trying to be supportive of my daughter, and right now what she's going through, because he wouldn't bond with her. Roy wouldn't bond with. Now Roy is a nickname after Race Car Roy, the Jim Croce song. That was one of his favorite songs. That's why I'm calling him Roy. It's a nickname. That's not his real name. Because I'm trying to protect. You know, I don't want his family to come after me again, using his real name. And I probably have used his real name in the first of this video. So I'm trying not to use his real name because the town we live near Lexington. And I don't need no more crap from family because, you know, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to put a feud out there on Facebook or YouTube here, but I'm trying to be respectful to him. Okay, even though he doesn't, in my opinion, deserve my respect. Respect starts with me. Peace starts with me, and it's yeah. My daughter Victoria, we call her Tori. She's um, she's 23. Well, she'll be 24 this October. She's feeling numb right now, and she says she don't know what she's feeling because he always demanded that she apologize for okay, I gave her a picture. I gave Roy a picture that she had sketched. My daughter is an artist. Thank you for your prayers. I appreciate that. She and I both need them. Um, she had sketched a calla lily picture, and it was just beautiful. Well, Tori was writing her last name as Reeves, and this was before my husband, Kentucky Ranger, adopted her. So he had to explain to his family, and he got all bent out of shape because she was writing her name as Reeves. I had married Kentucky Ranger in 2005. Well, she wrote her name as Reeves, and I understand that wasn't her legal last name. And we had a little problem with the school because they called me and Kentucky Ranger up to the school, and they said, "Why is your daughter writing Tori Reeves as her last name? She's got to sign her name as what it was biologically." And we hadn't changed her name. And I said, "Well, why are you allowing my daughter to write her first name as Tori, and you're pitching a fit about the last name?" I said, "Tori is a nickname. Her biological name is Victoria. So if you want to go toe to toe with mom here, I'm going to put it back at you." And so they said, "Well, she has to write her her real last name." And I said, "I get that. I understand that. But I just wanted to give the question back at you. Why are you allowing her to write her nickname?" I said, some of the kids call her Tori, some call her Vicky, some call her VJ. So, you know what I'm saying? So I let them know, hey, I'm not a stupid lady. And I said, we will correct this. So we did. I mean, Victoria wanted to belong because her biological dad, he had abandoned her when we left. He did this with his other two sons, and he didn't stay a part of their life. And so, you know what I mean? Father of the year, he wasn't. And so at the age of 14, we had enough money for Kentucky Ranger to adopt my daughter. And I contacted my ex and I asked would he relinquish his right. And all he was concerned about was getting the child support folks off of his backside. I said, "Well, we will stop the child support." I agreed that it would stop. Of course, it would stop anyway because once he relinquished his rights, he would pay child support every 6 months. And then the last 6, 7 years, I'm going to tell you, he had the child support where it was $5 a month. Okay. I grant you, he stayed in Florida. He built racing engines and he made under the table $500 a week, plus what the machine shop made. So he built racing engines. So he could afford a little bit more than that. And I do understand these last, I guess, 7 years. I do understand uh, he was having health problems, why the child support went so low, $5. I understand that. I get that. A lot of people have thrown down on me. Well, you're married to somebody else. Uh, Hi, Soulish Trenchcoat. Welcome. I'm talking about grief and dealing with the death of an abusive partner, spouse, husband, wife. I'm dealing with that aspect of this. Welcome to the stream. Okay. But zero value. Okay. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, it it's just it's difficult to deal with this kind of stuff because you have to make some decisions, and a lot of people aren't going to look favorably on you because you're saying, you're fighting for your child and getting child support, and that is a difficult battle. Well, my ex, uh, he wasn't happy with me filing for child support, and I did what I needed to do. And there was 4.5, almost 5 years before I married KentuckyRanger. So I was a single mother, and this time frame was when I was still in Florida. I was living by myself and supporting my daughter. And I worked at a hotel. And if anybody knows how women are paid considerably less. And I needed her to have medical insurance, so I fought for child support. Now, this was when I was in Florida. So the man, her biological father, brought home $500 under the table, and then plus whatever the machine shop made. I didn't ask the courts for an exorbitant amount, and I only asked for what was due by the state's standards. So $65 a month was more than adequate, and that's all I asked. I wasn't asking for, two or three hundred, which, a lot of women would have said, well, Ben's, he's a master machinist and he built racing engines. And, I didn't ask for more than what she was due. And I just needed help because, she needed to eat and stuff. And, the state of Florida, all the children and all the schools had to wear uniforms. Those were very expensive. So I didn't have a car. I walked everywhere I went, or I rode the city bus. So believe me, I lived on $500 a month because I wasn't making a lot of money in my job. So it wasn't too much for me to ask for help in supporting her. I wanted to feed my daughter. And a lot of people looked down on me because I made him pay child support. His mother, she's deceased now, she even had the audacity to say I had no right to ask him to pay child support because we simply were not married, me and my ex, but we lived together for 20 years. I considered myself his spouse, whether or not I had the piece of paper or not. So, I defend that. And I called her up, his mother, and I said, look, I'm filing child support on Roy. I wanted you to know. And she she said I had no right to do that because we simply were not married. I said, well, Mom, you may be from the old school, but the way the laws is, every parent has a right, whether you're um, domestic partners, life partners, husband and wife, or what have you. You have the right to file for child support. So She didn't exactly like that I could do that to her son. But I said, you don't know what the laws are. And so it's a difficult thing trying to fight for child support because a lot of uh, people are from the old school. And just like if you just with boyfriend, girlfriend, you live together, hey, if you got a baby with that person, it's your right to file for child support. It's your choice to choose to file for child support. And don't let anybody make you feel less than for filing for child support. You're doing what's right for your child. And I didn't ask for anything other than what was due our daughter. Well, uh, Kentucky Ranger adopted our daughter, and she had his last name. And I did what was right, and it's in the book, but some of the things I made a lot of mistakes. I did, and I own up to it in the book. I hold myself very accountable for mistakes I made in our relationship. And even after I left, uh, I was 36 years old, but I made mistakes also. No relationship's ever going to be perfect, but I had to keep a clear head and try to keep our daughter safe because I knew what an abusive man he was. And if he could kick one of our cats, that's a sign, guys. If a person abuses animals, such as kicking a cat, he broke our cat's hip. And one cat he threw up against the wall, and he severely hurt that cat. So, guys, if somebody's abusive to animals, that's a red flag, big time. And he kicked my little cat that I had. We had her on our screened-in porch room. Yeah, if somebody abuses an animal, they will abuse you. Okay, so guys, abusing an animal, if they will hurt a little helpless animal, they will hurt you too. So that's a red flag. Well, my ex hurt two of our cats. He broke the other one's leg. And, you don't hurt any animal. You don't hurt any children. You don't hurt any people, spouses. You don't lay your hands on another person. And it just, it escalated from there. And I didn't know that was one of the warning signs of an abuser is where they will hurt an animal. That is a real sign. So guys, if you're living with somebody and they're kicking your puppy or kicking your little cat or choking it or hurting it in any way, guys, that's abuse, and they will turn that abuse on you as well because it's wrong to hurt anybody, animals or humans. But that's one of the red flags of domestic violence. And it's it's crazy what family tries to put you through, especially people that's non-supportive. So his family and my family, I've had a lot of great family members stand behind me on what I did, but I also have some of them that like to kick me in the shins and make me feel like I was a piece of crap because I left him, because I chose to file for child support, and because Kentucky Ranger adopted our daughter. And it was his choice to give up his rights. Nobody held a gun to his head. But I talked to him, one of the times we could actually speak to each other. I said, look, you need to do what's right for her. If you don't want to stay in her life, then respectfully, can you sign your rights away? And I asked him that. He didn't have to. It was his choice. Hi, little bear. Well, there's a little bear. Little bear. I'm glad I'm a bridge, little bear. Oh, that was little bear, guys. She was just passing through. Uh, but it's horrendous the things that somebody that's emotionally battered or physically battered goes through, because you have to be so strong, and you will find out who your true family is. There are some that will support you, there are some that will talk about you, there were some that will talk trash about you. Been there, done that, and as they say, I have wrote the book about it. Literally. So I'm not publishing my book to slander. Yes, Roy did sign his rights away. Back in 2005, when I married Kentucky Ranger, I called him and I said, you know, I'm married, and uh, I didn't say anything at the time about him signing his rights away, but I wanted to let him know I had moved to Kentucky with our daughter and I was married. 3 days later, he sent me in the mail a letter stating he wanted me to have sole custody of our daughter. See, that wasn't finished with the court system, but I did leave the state of Florida to get away from him because I was terrified of him. And so I married Kentucky Ranger, my high school best friend. He's the one that came and got us. Um, I was living with another guy, and he was very abusive. He was using me as a punching bag. And see, a lot of times when you get out of an abusive relationship, a lot of times you get right back into another abusive relationship. And I only stayed with him for 4 years. And Kentucky Ranger came and got Victoria and I, moved us back to our home state, Kentucky, which uh, Roy, my ex, now that's not his real name, that is a fictitious name, and we moved to Kentucky. His family and my family was in the state, in the county that I moved in, and I did seek an attorney's advice to get this get this done, because I wanted to follow the law, and I did to a degree. But there's a few things I did. I broke the law, and I'm honest to say that. I'm not proud of that. I'm not boasting about that. I'm just simply stating the facts. I did things, and I write about it in the book. You'll have to read it when it comes out. Bruises from Within. It's my story of survival of domestic violence, and I write in depth a lot about what happened in the book. Can't tell you all of it, but Roy signed his rights away. He sent a notarized letter that he wanted me to have sole custody of our daughter. I was the custodial parent to begin with, and um, 3 days later, I received another certified letter. He wanted Kentucky Ranger to adopt his daughter, but he wanted her to retain his name. And I called him up and I asked him, "Are you sure this is what you're wanting to do, to sign your rights away to Victoria?" He signed the paperwork, that letter, and all it was a notarized, two notarized letters sent 3 days apart of what his intent was. It was straight and to the point. And when I talked to him on the phone, he asked, would I do away with the child support? I said, yes, I will stop the child support if this is what you want done. And this was if he signed his rights away. And I was trying to be fair, and I kept my word about it. So when we had the money, we didn't have the money right then, because if you're saying, well, if he adopted her when she was 14 years old, and back in 2005, she was younger. She was about 12 or so. But we didn't have the money to get into the court system, because I had to have an attorney representing me in the court system, and my daughter had to have an attorney. So, you know, that's about $5,000 right there having an attorney at Lightem for my daughter representing her. So we didn't have the money at that time. So that's why there was such a long space. I mean, there was a couple of years. I can't remember exactly how many, but there was a couple of years that went by that he we didn't take it to court yet. So when she turned 14, Kentucky Ranger asked me. He says, "I'm gonna talk to Victoria and see what she thinks about me adopting her as her dad from here on out." And I said, "That would be awesome, Donald. That would be awesome." And Kentucky Ranger Donald, he talked to Victoria, and he says, "How do you feel about me as being more than just your stepdad, being your dad from here on out?" And this man is so awesome. His birthday's coming up, guys. So if you want to send him a birthday card, he'll be turning 55. Our address is P.O. Box 156, Stanton, Kentucky. I'll put it in the bottom. I'll link. His birthday is coming up the 10th, and it would mean the world to him. Didn't expect I would talk about his birthday, but let me tell you guys, he is an awesome guy. Uh, I like, yeah, Kentucky Ranger, he's a mess. He's a good mess. But his birthday is coming up, guys, and it would mean a lot to me if y'all send him a birthday card because let me tell you, he is an awesome guy. Plus, Father's Day is coming up, and that is really super special. I'm sorry, I don't mean to tear up, but you know what I mean. He is just an awesome, awesome man. He adopted our daughter, and I could write a book on the things that he has done for us. And I don't care what anybody says on YouTube about this man, he is just super awesome. You hear my little cat Miko in the background. She's kind of mewing. She got the mewies. But Kentucky Ranger, his birthday's coming up, and it would be awesome. Doggone. It would be awesome if y'all sent him a birthday card. He'll be 55 years old the 10th of this month. So if y'all could send him a birthday card, it's P.O. Box 156, Stanton, Kentucky 40380. And it's the state of Kentucky. I'll put a link at the bottom of this video. So if y'all could send him a birthday card, that would mean the world to him. Because let me tell you, he's a good man. And plus, him adopting Victoria, you know. And he was talking to Victoria about, oh, sorry about that, guys. You know what I mean? Uh, he's a good father. And he talked to Victoria, and we set in motion him adopting her. And let me tell you, yeah, Kentucky Ranger, he loves little Colin. We love little Colin. We're like distant aunt and uncle. But let me tell you, this man has done so much for my daughter and me. Well, we were high school best friends, and let me tell you, he's a good dad. And Father's Day is coming up, guys, so don't forget all of the fathers out there because there are so many wonderful fathers out there. Kentucky Ranger is one of them. And let me tell you, he has seen us through so much. He's my high school best friend. I've known him since I was 16 years old. And he knew my ex. And he knew he was abusive. And so he got me out of that situation. Let me tell you guys, Kentucky Ranger is a awesome guy. And I don't care what anybody says about him. He's a good guy. Don't forget stepfather. Oh, amen. Yes, soulless trench coat. Amen. Don't forget stepfathers for Father's Day because doggone it, they're dads too. And I tell you what, without the stepfathers, They help a lot of the young children heal, and that is awesome. Stepdads are fantastic, guys. Step parents, if somebody steps up to the plate and helps raise another child that's somebody else's, I applaud them because it takes a big heart to raise a baby that's not yours. And we went to court, and another reason I'm talking about this is because Father's Day's coming up, and Kentucky Ranger, he's an awesome guy. I love the man. He's a great father to our daughter, and she bears his last name now. But some of the things, getting back to the grief issue, sometimes people that don't know what your ex has put you through, they will judge and point their finger and try to make you feel less than. Stepdads seem to do more than most biological dads. You know what? I agree with that. See, my dad was adopted by his foster parents, and they were pretty good people. But let me tell you, amen. Wow, amen. Yes. Uh, it takes a bunch of people to raise kids, and it is awesome when somebody steps up to the plate. It could be an uncle step up to the plate and mentor and guide a young child. So, guys, let's not forget all of those people that have stepped into families and healed the broken hearts of little children that are in broken families, guys. Let's step up to the plate and remember and embrace them. It could be an uncle. Okay, kitty cat. I was hoping she didn't. Zelda walked across the laptop. I was hoping she wasn't going to type anything. Um, it's just awesome. You know, sometimes biological parents, for whatever reason, step out of a child's life, but those fathers that step up to the plate and raise a child as their own, like Kentucky Ranger has done. I mean, you wouldn't know that they're not biological father and daughter. Let me tell you, I salute fathers that step up to the plate and raise somebody else's child. Now, we also have excellent, awesome dads that take care of their kids, but for those who choose to walk away from their children, and God bless the step parents, the stepfathers and stepmothers that step in to mentor and love and nurture children. You don't know what that does to a child's spirit. Well, maybe you do know, maybe you're doing just that. God bless anybody that steps up to raise children. But if you guys could, it would really be awesome if y'all could send Kentucky Ranger birthday cards. It would mean a lot to him. And our P.O. Box is 156, Stanton, Kentucky, 403 40380. I had to think there for a minute, and it's Kentucky, guys. So I will put the address that if you want to send him a birthday card, don't tell him I told you that his birthday is the 10th. Even if your birthday card gets here a little bit late, that's okay. That's okay. He would appreciate it because he's a great guy. I mean, I couldn't ask God, well, hi, Zelda. There went Zelda, guys. Boy, they're stepping on me today. That's Zelda. There go. Sorry about that. My cats are walking across my chest. Oh, I guess I'm a big bridge. But I tell you, Kentucky Ranger has helped me and my daughter. Well, hello, Miss Zelda. Come sit. Come talk to everybody. Hello. Hi, Miss Zelda. Oh, mercy. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, guys. That's Zelda, guys. Miss Zelda. She wanted to say hello. Oh, Miss Zelda, where you going, baby girl? Come on now. I can't see. That's not nice. Put your butt in my face. Come on, sit down. I tell you what, these cats are something else today. Yeah, Legend of Zelda, exactly. Oh, she's a mess. She has to get her snuggles in with Mommy. Huh, Zelda? I got one that's got the meowies too. In the life of my family, right? Thank you guys, thank you. Yeah, that's why she was named Legend of Zelda. She's a mess. All my babies are a mess, but you know, guys, don't forget Father's Day.
Apparently there's a subject been there.
Uh oh,
He's
something's going on at the dollar store.
causing the employees some uneasiness. So I'm
What?
head
Whoa.
down there and check it out.
Hope they don't rob them or nothing. Oops. I got a scanner. That's better than a TV some days. You know what I mean? But guys, don't forget stepdads too on Father's Day. Get them a card. Uh, get them a little something special. I'm hoping that I'll be able to take Kentucky Ranger uh, out to his favorite restaurant. So I got to check into Outback. So anybody know what Outback cards cost? You know, the gift cards. I'm sure he would love to have one, but I'm not going to ask, okay, guys? But Kentucky, not Kentucky Outback, but Outback Steakhouse. I'm thinking of Kentucky. Having a moment here, y'all. But that's one of his favorite restaurants is Outback Steakhouse. And so if y'all can send him birthday cards, that would really be cool because he's an awesome man. And I I just wanted to share with you guys all of my thoughts about uh, abuse, dealing with grief, because now that he's gone, I can say how I feel. I feel sorry that he's gone. Because that's who I am. A lot of people would not grieve or would not think they would grieve, but I personally, I think, uh, he's in a better place. I'm grateful. I'm relieved that he's not going to be stalking me anymore. He's not going to be bothering me anymore in any way. I'm still dealing with the after effects of the abuse. Hey, Solus, you have a great day. And I think this is a difficult subject to talk about. Um, you know, abuse. I feel so much relief that he is gone. I'm sorry for the pain that he had to endure going through cancer. It went to his brain and it was also in his lungs, so it made his breathing. Hi, farm mall, fantastic. Anyway, I'll just call you fantastic, okay? uh, you have done amazing, Carla. You have come so far in life. Well, yesterday, my sister and I, we kind of had a throwdown because I just had enough of her backhanded comments about his family. Well, Carla, don't forget their family too, and she don't know the half of the things that he had put me through, and I've not tried to alienate her from his side of the family because blood is blood, no matter what. His side of the family, I've always tried to encourage them to come see her, them, to stay a part of her life, and what times we would take her to visit his side of the family. They just seem so distant, and now that he's dead. Hi, Miko. There went Miko. She's got the meowies. Yeah, there she goes. She's a cranking up meowing. Miko, Miko, come here. Come here, baby. Miko. So if you hear meowing in the background, that's Miko. She's got the meowies. I have yet to have her fixed, but we will. Come here, Miko. Miko. Miko, come here, Mama. Kitty, 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 kitty. Miko, come here. She's my little bobtail striped cat, so she's apt to. Oh, there she goes. She's a talking. Um, I'm just me, wow, and I really appreciate. You have done amazing, Carla, and you have come so far in life. Wait till you read my books. you you better get you a box of tissue out. I mean, it's not all depressing, but it's very emotional. Some of the things that I've gone through and I've written about. So, um, domestic violence, it wasn't the easiest thing in the world to write about because the things that I went through. And if you know somebody going through domestic violence, please be their shoulder to lean on if you can. Sometimes you don't know what to say to them, but I would suggest, you know, try to lend an ear, try to be sympathetic and empathetic with what they're going on because a lot of times, even though they're not beaten and battered, the bruises from within, the emotional abuse runs really deep. And I've been writing on my second book on the trilogy, but this will actually be my third book that will be published. Now, my second book, okay, who's on first, what's on second, right? Anyway, my book that is currently coming out, Bruises from Within, I talk about this 20-year domestic violence, and I talk about that. Um, it's not an easy subject to talk about, but I wanted to let people know in writing this book, guys, you're not alone. Whether you're a man or a woman going through domestic violence, you're not alone, and it's very difficult this journey that you go through, but I made it and you can make it. And I want people to know there is help out there and there is hope because me, all the things I went through, I write why I stayed so long. Why did I stay for 20 years? You know, people stay for many reasons. My story is not special, mine is probably typical of a battered spouse. The thing of it is you can make it. You know, I just didn't know how to get out of the abuse, and a lot of guys and gals don't know how to get out of abuse, and that's what I basically tackle in this book coming out anytime now. I tackle that very subject because it's not easy. It's not easy at all dealing with domestic abuse. You know, I'm going to type in, hold on, I'm going to type in, um, I'm going to try to do this one handed. If you want to send Kentucky Ranger, what's the matter, Miko? A birthday card. This is bat, B-I-R-T, oh, shoot. Okay. I'm typing in real quick the P.O. box. If you want to send Kentucky Ranger a birthday card, it would be awesome. And heads up, his favorite restaurant is Outback Stakehouse. So, you know, uh, okay. I'm trying to type one handed. Try that sometime. Just a second. Oh, got the, hang on just a second. 40380 is the zip code. So if anybody wants to send Kentucky Ranger a birthday card, that would be awesome. Okay, um, because he's just a special guy. Let him know what he means to you guys because he is special, and I think that would really mean the world to him to get a birthday card. Okay. Um, anyways, anybody have any questions? Any uh, thing to say about the subject I'm tackling? Talking about grief from an ex abuser. If you can, hit that like button and subscribe button and check everybody's channel out, you guys. Um, so, does anybody have anything to say? I'll keep this live stream going for a bit longer. I don't know how long, say 79 minutes looks like. I don't know how long I've been on here, but I think this was a very important subject to talk about. Um, and so I'll get back into talking about grief and what you may be going through when you have an ex abusive person. Boy, Miko, she's turning on the charm. I don't know if y'all can hear her or not, but she's got the case of the meowing. Miko, kitty, 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 kitty. Miko, she's been meowing off and on. Anyway, it's a different it's a different it's a different kind of grief. You may not even feel like you're grieving at all. Oh, thanks for the little cat picture, Shannon. That is cute. Um, but with me, I've been feeling a little bit of emotional, kind of like a little bit of a roller coaster. I am so relieved that he's gone and passed away because I don't have to worry anymore. That fear is just, it's gone because he stalked me for quite a while. And so I'm doing good on that part of it. I mean, I was saddened because, he passed away. You know, I am compassionate because, you know, he was my
Yeah,
daughter's
they get
biological
being social.
dad.
Run it for me, real quick.
So, but
Okay.
anyway, it's a difficult thing to go through, and you may face family members like I'm currently doing right now,
Run that crank.
that he is,
Permission wheel.
you know, uh,
GLB's 516 of 86
they're
record
the
social.
the family. Not everybody is understanding because they didn't know, and I don't expect them to understand. They're putting me down because of some of the lies he's told
160-3527.
about me. And sorry about the scanner. I should have turned it off before I started my live stream. I may start another live stream shortly. But
What's up?
people people don't understand what you're going through until they walk a mile in your shoes. As they say, walk a mile in my moccasins, then you'll understand why I am the way I am. And you know, everything you go through in life, it shapes you who you're going to be. Just like with the stuff that I've gone through, a lot of times I'm saying to God, hey God,
See if you can find another one
why?
in Indiana to,
Just a second. Let me turn that. There we go. Now Zelda, you're gonna have to get up. Come on, Zelda. Oh, doggone it, Zelda. Oh, you snot. Come on, get up. She's trying to steal my seat. I gotta move her. Zelda, Zelda, get up. She's got my seat. Zelda, Zelda, get up. Get up. Get up, Mama. Come on. That's a good girl. Oh, she's being a little stinker. Oh, I'm coming back, you guys. Zelda, baby, you're going to have to move more. Come on. Move. Move your caboose. I'm back, guys. Come on, ZZ. Come on, bud. Get up. Oh, my gosh. Oh, she's a mess. Come on, baby. Get up. Oh, my goodness. Oh, there we go. Oh, Zelda, you getting fat, baby. Anyway, oops. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying uh, about, let's see, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. Isn't that terrible? But, guys, don't forget, Father's Day is coming up. Don't forget to honor those fathers and stepfathers and grandfathers in your life. So, whoops, I'm trying to get this thing set up right. Anyway, having to hold it. So, uh, don't forget those that have been a father figure in your life. It may be someone that's a friend of the family, stepdad, uh, grandfather that maybe has stepped in, maybe an uncle even. So don't forget the people, the men in your life that means the most, that has mentored and fathered or parented you. So don't forget them because they are good people in this world. I'm positive about that. My glasses look crooked. Got my reading glasses on. But you guys, you know that you can make it in the world. You can make it through abuse. You can make it through grieving because I've uh, I've been through a lot, and I'm still kicking, and I'm still positive. And a lot of people can't understand. A lot of people say, well, "God, that didn't make you bitter going through all that." No, it didn't make me bitter. It made me better. It made me stronger in life. And you know, God, I believe, allows you to go through things to shape and change your heart for the better. Uh, Sometimes He changes you and puts you on the life path He wants you on. So I think that, let's see. Oh, I got a growling contest. All right, who's a growling? Uh oh, I'm fixing to get a hissing contest. Well, hi, baby. I got baby. Uh oh, uh oh. We're fixing to hear some hissing. Uh-oh. What's the matter, baby? Baby. That's my neighbor's cat. She's expecting kittens, and she's decided she's going to take up with me. Baby. They call her Nix, but I call her Baby. 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 Because she's going to have babies. Baby. Hey, Mama. See how pretty? Another black kitty cat. She looks like a little bear, doesn't she? Hi, baby. Hi, baby. So I'm going to help her when she has her little babies because they've got a pit bull dog and they needed somebody to help take care of her. But you were saying you're on a roller coaster. Uh, and so, yeah, let me get back to that one. Thank you for reminding me what I was saying. Sorry, I got ADHD. It sucks. Um, I feel like since he died uh, Wednesday, that my emotions have been on a roller coaster because of the grief. I felt total relief that he passed away. I wasn't happy that, if I can say that, if I don't feel like I was happy that he was dead, but I was glad he wasn't suffering. So, I mean that in a different way. My son has his first job interview Wednesday. So proud of him. That is awesome. That is awesome. And I know he's going to nail the job. Okay, wow, that is fantastic. I'm tickled for you. That is awesome news. Anyway, getting back to the emotional roller coaster, if you will, of grief. And this is a different kind of grief because grieving. Hey, Rosie. Hey, how are you? My sincere condolences to you and your kids. Thank you so much, Rosie. And if anybody's not subscribed to Miss Rosie, check her channel out. Rosie, I'm talking about domestic violence and grief of a partner, spouse, life partner, even a parent that has. Oh, I've got a cat fight. Oh, come on, you two. Lily Mae. All right, girls, I got a cat fight. Hang on, y'all. Got a cat fight going. Lily Mae, you guys behave. That bay window is big enough for everybody. Sorry about that, guys. they're getting a little bit prissy with each other. And this is a neighbor's cat, and they wanted me to keep it till she has her babies and stuff because they'll be moving and they got a lot of stuff going on. They got a pit bull dog. Um, I'm talking about the grief that goes along with when you have someone that you've been involved with that was abusive, and I suffered from domestic violence of 20 years. And he and I'll call him Roy, that's his nickname. And I was talking about, hey, Rosie, I hope you'll watch this video. I know it's a bit lengthy in its entirety because I'm talking about the domestic violence that you go through and the grief when that person dies. I'm talking about some of the grief things that I've gone through, and I'm a published author, Ruthie. Uh, I mean, Rosie, Ruth. I'll get my name. I'm sorry, Rosie. I'll get my names right here in a minute. And I've been working on my second book, well, which is actually the third book, but it's the second book in the trilogy of Bruises from Within. Now, that is the book that I wrote about 20 years surviving domestic violence and getting out. And I talk about my faith. Yeah, it. Oh, the first book. Well, I've got to have that republished because of obvious reasons. There's a lot of grammatical errors, but that's okay. That's all good. I got that first one out there, and that was a Christian book, and I'm a Christian author, and I'm proud to say that. And my next book is coming out any day now, and it is really going to be super. I'm going to be getting the next book. Okay, Bruises from Within. It's on domestic violence, surviving domestic violence, and I write down everything that I went through. Um, I lost a friend. Oh, I'm so sorry, Rosie. I'm so sorry, honey. That is a hard thing to go through, and a lot of times people don't understand what you're going through. Now, my abuse started out, I was 16 years old when the abuse with this guy started. Um, and a lot of times people just don't understand, when you don't talk about it, when they don't see your mouth busted, they don't understand the emotional abuse. And emotional abuse is just as bad, if not worse, than yeah, it's hard not to hate. I'm with you on that, because for a while I think I did hate him, but I had to give that to God, and I had to say I can't let that turn me bitter. And I began to really pray on it. And if you do hate the person that has battered you in the past, I I implore you to forgive. Forgive not only for him or her, but for you. Whoever the person was that abused you in whatever way, forgive them. I mean, I'm not saying you got to love them, but try to like them. Nah, I don't know about that either. You know what I mean? I love you too, Rosie. I love you too. I listened to a interview with Christina Crawford where she talked about going through the viewing of her mother, and I was afraid for a while until she touched the body and she knew she was really gone. And see, that's another video that I can do. Now, Tuesday, everybody, I want everybody to know, so shout out anybody that needs to hear on abuse and grieving. My sister in law, Cherie Carpenter, I'm sorry, Carpenter. Cherie Carpenter and I next Tuesday will be doing a live stream at 7 Central Time. And Tuesday, so stay tuned and tell anybody you know that we're going to be talking about domestic violence and grief. So we're going to cover a whole lot of issues on domestic violence and the grief. where we could be talking about grief of a pet, grief of an abusive parent, a spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, life partner. So is that that's going to be on her channel. Hello, Miko. We have another little visitor. Oops, there she goes. That's my little bobtail cat. She's the one's got the meowies. Miko, Miko, Miko. Gonna talk? Meow, 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 meow. Come here, come here. Come say hi to everybody. Well, guess not. Well, she'll be passing through again. That's going to be on her channel. Her channel is Cherie Reeves. Cherie, if you're on here, type in a comment so everybody can see your channel. I'll put the link at the end of here. Uh, I will share. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. If you would, Rosie, send me a link to that. I'm on Facebook, Carla Reeves. I think we're friends on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, guys. Simply Carla Reeves. Just look for my page. And I'll give that your page a shout out also. So when we do, how do you spell Chrie? Oh, you're welcome, hun. You're welcome. I believe I got it close. Now I may have the I and the E reversed, so it's Cherie. Cherie. A lot of people call it Sherry, but it's Cherie Carpenter. And I'll get her to comment. I'll call her, and I don't know if she's in here or not. She goes, let's see, no, she went to church yesterday. But Tuesday, everybody will be talking about grief. So anybody you know that's a widow, that's had an ex that's beaten them, tune in. It's 7 Central Time on Cherie Reeves' channel. So, giving her a shout out. She's a great lady. She's my sister in law. Her and I will be tag teaming um, what we've been talking about. She's hashtag I am a creator, I believe. So if anybody's heard of that, so check into that. She's in that too. So if you know anybody that's going through any type of abuse, hey Lily ain't talking. Lily, kitty, 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 kitty. No, she's not talking. Let me see. Lily, Lily. Oh, she's going. Okay. Anyway, if you know anybody that's going through domestic violence, may give them a heads up on my channel. And maybe if you need to open the door to speak about domestic violence, if you suspect somebody's going through that, tune in to her channel Tuesday. And I may, throughout the day, I may do another live stream a little bit later talking about domestic violence and this very subject of grieving a loss of someone that's battered you, some of the things you go through. I felt anger. I felt relief. I felt sorrow. I felt happy. I felt shocked. Now, see, I knew Roy was dying. He's my ex. Now, that's not his real name, guys. That is a fictitious name, uh, to protect his family because I don't want his family seeing this. Yes, yes. Cherie Carpenter on YouTube. Thank you for that, Rosie. Appreciate that, girl. Appreciate that. That's her channel, and her and I will be doing a live stream next week, next Tuesday, 7 Central, and her and I will be talking about grief, domestic violence, and if you know somebody that's in abuse or you suspect it, have them tune into our channel and we'll answer questions. We'll talk about some of the issues that we've both have dealt with. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you so much. I got some good moderators in here. I don't know who all moderators I got, but Donald had to help me. Kentucky Ranger had to help me with that one. But don't forget, he's got a birthday coming up the 10th of this month. And if you'd like to send him a birthday card, he would sure appreciate it. And let him know what he means to you. Okay, guys? Because he's a great guy. I hope you will watch this video all the way through. I know it's a bit lengthy, but I think it's important that people start talking about domestic violence, grief. Try to be there for one another. Try to support each other. Because thank you so much. Appreciate you putting that up. Thank you, thank you. So that way everybody can see it in the link. I appreciate all of my subscribers. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate everybody that's here because you guys are a blessing to me. And the YouTube family, I'm praying that me and Kentucky Ranger, can go to Amy, What the Paranormal. I'm probably saying her channel wrong, but she's got a great channel, and we're all going to meet up in Gatlinburg. I think either Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, and we're all going to meet up in Tennessee, and I can't wait for that. Let me see if I can run to her channel right quick and post the link. We're going to be we're going to be meeting up with people on YouTube, and we'll get to meet each other. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as they say. Let me find her channel. She has got a very awesome channel, so I hope everybody will check them out. I'm giving them a shout out. She's got a great channel. Let me see where she at. And a bunch of us is going to get together next year and meet up in Tennessee. So let's see. Let me put my sister-in-law's channel up, a link to hers. Let me put her up a link. Let me see. I'm bad with names, y'all, so forgive me. So I am going to post a link to different channels, okay, and check their channels out because we got some awesome folks that I support. So I hope y'all will support them too. Yes, I said the S word, support. Support. I didn't say sub, so you know what I mean. And I mean, we have a awesome YouTube family. Let me give another shout out to Cap7. He's a great guy. If you need to be uplifted, check him out as well. He is awesome. He does some great comedy skits, and he's just an awesome channel to check out. Uh, if you're down, he's one that I would suggest. He's always positive, and he's always got a good word to say to people. And I would suggest to check him out. Tell him Carla sent you. Carla Reeves sent you. Said he was a good channel. So if you're not subscribed, let me put some more channels up here. That's just awesome, awesome folks. This is one of them. Oh, let me see. Her channel is, oh, where did it go? What the Paranormal. Check her out. She's got an awesome channel. And we're all, like I say, going to try to meet up next year. And hey, you might get to meet me. And Lord willing, I will do my best to, if my book is out, Bruises from Within, I will do my best to have a couple of copies. Who knows? I may give a couple of copies away. And if you contact her, What the Paranormal, contact her for information. If you would like to meet up with us next year, a bunch of us are getting together. What the Paranormal, we're all going to try to meet up next year. She's got all the info about the hotel room. We're going to have just a great time. And so I'm praying that we can all get together and do that. Rob, Michigander Man, he's another great one. He does lunch with Rob, and he shares his lunch with us, and He talks. So another great channel. Want to send out some love, as they say, some great channels to check into. And like I say, we're one great big family on YouTube, and I am blessed to know all of these people, and they're great channels. What the paranormal checks out, the paranormal stuff, and you might not be into that, but let me tell you, it's really interesting. She's a great lady, and she's one of our family members. So just wanted to, if you're new to YouTube and you want to check out channels, she's one of the great channels to check out. And um, we just have so many wonderful family, and we support each other. We don't do drama. We're a peaceful channel, and I just want to thank everybody that has sat through what I'm talking about on domestic violence and grief. And just remember, guys, you're not alone. You have a friend in Carla Reeves. You have a friend in Kentucky Ranger, and we support everybody. Um, a lot of times I try to catch everybody's streams, but I've got quite a few different streams to watch, and I try to hit hit the good ones. If you can be anything, just be kind. Exactly, exactly. I am what you see. I'm not fancy. I'm not fake. I'm just simply Carla Reeves. And I love all of my subscribers. I love all of my family, even my family, some of them that's difficult, but I try to be compassionate to everybody. But I am blessed. Love your videos about the irises. Oh, yeah. Guys, check it. Hey, have you checked out my other one that I did of the horses here in Kentucky? Let me tell you about that video. It's I forgot what I named it, but there was a bunch of new foals and colts born. Carly, you have helped me in a really abrupt. Hey, I'm here for you. And if there's anything you would like to share or talk with me about, Rosie, I'm here, honey. And I'm a sister. I'm a survivor. I don't call myself a victim anymore. And believe me, I have rough days still. There'll be things that trigger my emotional scars from the past. So, you guys, that is very normal. The one about the history museum is my favorite. Now, is that the one that I shared or my husband shared? Kentucky Ranger. He's my husband. Uh, we're going to try to do, him and I are going to try to do a lot more videos. Uh, I know I don't do a whole big bunch of live streams, so hey, it's a treat when I pop on here. It's like, boop, there she is. But a lot of times I like to share. Oh, I know which one you're talking about, Sharon. I know which one you're talking about. The Civil War museum that my twin sister and I were at, and I put up a bunch of clips, and they allowed us to videotape, and we got to go in one of the rooms, and the guy, we have to go back there. Me and Kentucky Ranger, we'll probably try to do that next month because with his back, he's facing another back surgery, guys. So always keep in your prayers, and he's having problems with his spinal stimulator. If you know what that is. A stimulator that's been implanted in his back, his L1S5. It's the lower part of the back that he's had operated on. He's had two back surgeries. A lot of people, when I say he's having a bad back day, that, oh, we'll take a cup of Motrin and Tylenol and he'll be all right. No, it's not a back ache. This is a back hurt that hurts constantly. He blew three of his discs out. They did a disectomy, and they've done the spinal stimulator, and it helps relieve his pain a little bit, but it's the kind of nerve pain that never stops. It's like having a toothache in your back. So he's a bit limited. He's in constant 24-hour pain, and he exactly, Rosie, exactly. He has no, people have no idea unless you're going through it. He's had block root shots where they've uh, taken needles and stuck them in directly in his spine. So there's a lot of days that he's in a lot of severe pain, and so a lot of people just don't understand that. And see, he won't take the opioids and stuff because they don't help anybody with um, back problems like he's got. He's facing a back fusion, and that's pretty serious. Um, so no amount of aspirin, Tylenol, Darvocet, and all this other mess will ever help him. And he's in a lot of constant pain. But his birthday is coming up. He'll be turning 55 on the 10th, and I put our P.O. box on the chat. So if anybody thinks a lot of Kentucky Ranger, I bet he would really love to get birthday cards. And his favorite restaurant is Outback Steakhouse, and that would make his day too if we could be able to go there. But right now, I can't afford to take him to uh, Kentucky, to Outback Steakhouse. But I would really love to be able to take him out to dinner. But maybe next year, and I would call it a birthday and Father's Day dinner, but I can't afford to take him out there to a nice steak dinner. But and if anybody deserves a steak dinner, he certainly does, because he is just an awesome man. What he's helped me heal through, and most of all, our daughter, because Victoria saw a lot of the domestic violence, and it really affects kids. But I think him and I, we have a pretty good daughter. You wouldn't know the difference. I mean, he has just taken her into his heart, and he mentors her, he loves her. And I tell you what, he's a hell of a man. I'm just going to say he's a hell of a man, because he loves my daughter, our daughter. And he just, what can I say? He's the greatest father. He gives her advice. What tickles me is she'll come to him and ask him about taxes. Hey, Dad. See, my daughter's 23 years old, and she'll say, hey, Dad, you know, what should I do about this situation? And she works at Kroger's and stuff, and she's a very responsible young lady. She's worked right out of high school. She went 2 years of EKU, so I think beyond what we've been through. See, I left her biological dad, her abusive dad, when she was 8 years old. So she's been through a lot, and she's a little tough hombre. And I'm trying to show her by my life path that, sometimes you can be a victim of domestic violence, but you can take your power back. And I'm teaching her empowerment, that you don't have to take domestic violence. And the lessons I'm teaching her is by the example I'm setting as a mom. And a lot of times I beat myself up being a mom of all the mistakes I did staying with my ex, but I felt trapped, like many abused victims feel, is trapped. And if you're feeling trapped in your relationship, there's something wrong there, because you shouldn't feel being trapped. And I've been through a lot, and our our family has been through a lot, but it has made me wiser and positive, more positive. Children learn what they live. Amen, Rosie. You are spot on that. And I write about that in my book. Oh, my hand's getting tired. So I have to change the angle of the camera. My hand's cramping up. Whoops. But, children do learn life lessons from us. And what we teach our children is what we live. We live by example. Just like I taught Victoria to stay in abuse. Now, I wasn't trying to deliberately teach that, but it's the life lessons we teach our kids as we stay in domestic violence. And just like little boys, when they see daddy hitting mommy, they learn that's what love is. They learn the definition of love through us. We are our children's first teachers in life. We parents. My parents taught me to stay in domestic violence. My mother was in domestic violence with my father, and he controlled her, he manipulated her. Now, I love my dad. I do. God rest his soul. I do love my dad. But he had a lot of issues also. And the third book I will be writing about, now the second book, Healing from Within, I'm writing the manuscript right now, but the third book, I'll be talking about the issues of what we as parents, we teach our children. What are the roots of why do they pick bad boys? Have you ever asked yourself, if you're a lady or guy, why do I pick the bad boys? No matter whether you're gay, straight, heterosexual, or whatever, abuse is abuse, and everybody can go through the very similar things of abuse. And what we need to be asking ourselves is, why do I pick the bad boys? Why do I pick the ones that punch me in the face? Is it because I like to be hit? No, it's not that. It's the example your mom set by staying, if your dad was abusive, whether it's physically or mentally, financially, we get our imprint of what our parents has done in their life, and it's imprinted on our soul when we are young, and those are the seeds of why do I choose guys that treat me like garbage? Why do I stay and pick the bad boys, the little football players? Now, I'm not saying all football players are bad or abusive. I'm not saying that at all. I'm using that as metaphorically an example, and that's all. Because there's a lot of good guys out there and good gals out there, whatever your relationship is. But we teach our children to choose spouses like we are. Okay, have you ever had people to say to you, okay, if a mother is abusive to the children or the husband, okay, now this goes both ways. So I'm turning the example around. Um, you've heard the saying, you always marry, if you're a young man, you always marry a woman like your mother. Think about your mother's characteristics. How is your mother? Oh, Miko. Oh, Lord have mercy. Miko. Shh. Mama's live streaming. Y'all hear? God, she's croning. Lord, Miko, baby girl. Shh. Oh, she got the case of the meowies. Um, but let's see. Some women feel they're not meant to change people. Yes, I agree with that. But you know what? Healing and change starts with me. Healing and changing starts with you. And when you start to change your view of how you, okay, like for instance, I viewed myself as always a victim. But I started changing that when I started healing because I call myself a domestic violence survivor. Big difference. What's the difference of a survivor and a victim? You were a victim in your past. Now you are a survivor because you're healing and you're moving on. Does any of this resonate with anybody? Is it hitting any themes in your life? Is it hitting home with what I'm saying? Somebody give me some feedback. What do you think about what I'm saying? My mother narcissistically abused us. I was not taught about healthy relationships. Yeah. Oops. Oh, 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 oh. Uh oh. Did I mess up my stream? Oh, man. Doggone it. I messed up my stream, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I dropped my phone. Whoops. Uh, a lot of times you have to reteach yourself. Just like I grew up with some very abusive. My childhood was very abusive, and a lot of times that when you start to heal, you start to parent yourself and change the way you think. And so I started, well, hey, I'm with you on that, Sharon. Amen. I was like that too because uh, you got it. Survivor. We're survivors. Me personally, I had a very abusive childhood, but I'm not going to cry in self pity and stay in that little pity party of, oh, well, I'm just this, I'm just that. I'm just not meant to be happy. No, I'm not going to stand in self pity. I'm going to empower myself and write books about empowering ourselves because you know what? I'm going to find the positive in what I've gone through. And I believe this is what God has meant me to do to help people heal through my books. And in fact, years ago, God gave me a word of wisdom and He gave me a vision of what my life purpose is supposed to be. And we all want to know, what is my life purpose, God? Yes. Amen. See, that's what I've learned through therapy, reading, and hard knocks. And see, I'm still going through therapy. There's no shame in going through therapy where you see a counselor or a psychologist or whatever, a psychiatrist. You know, sometimes you have to help yourself heal with God uh, and come through this because I came through it. You got to persevere through the weeds of abuse and find out what is normal. Have you ever asked yourself what is normal? What is normal? Well, everybody, I think, has an ideal of their picture in their head of a Norman Rockwell picture, you know, where the family is perfect. And, you know, if you think about it, we all try to project perfection. Like when you go to church, you, it takes courage to admit you need help. Hi, and I admit that I've needed help and I still need help getting through some of the difficult things that I went through because you know what? The day you're born, you don't have an instruction manual. And a lot of times it's difficult to deal with this because sometimes you might start out in a toxic family. Oh, well, just don't think you're getting better than anybody else. If you don't have anything good to say, shut your mouth. How many was told that? I was told that as a kid. I was told that plenty of times. You're to be seen, not heard. Carla, shut up. And see, that's dismissive. That's emotionally abusive to a child to hear that. You don't matter. You don't matter. I love you, honey, but you're a total screw up in life. God bless you. And see, I was told stuff like that. Well, you're slow, honey, and you'll never amount to much in your life. Have you been labeled like that? Have anybody hearing me on that? Does that resonate with anybody? Is that touching home for anybody? Am I stepping on any toes? Have you heard that? People saying that to you? That you'll never amount to nothing? You're just a piece of crap? Whether it be through a parent or, a loved one? Have you been told stuff like that? Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Now I have a trauma coach. I think a lot of people need trauma coaches, trauma therapists, because, man, I'll tell you what, no wonder people are having a hard time in life because if you think about the families that's gone through, you know, okay, take from me, for example. All I've ever known my entire life was abuse. And then if you're molested as a child, you're battered as a child, it's a wonder that I'm not Looney Tunes. Now, I've got an older sister um, through the childhood abuse that we suffered, and it was pretty serious. Um, she's not mentally there, and honestly, she needs to be put in the hospital. I'm not talking about my twin sister, but I'm talking about my older sister. She got the brunt of the abuse from when we were kids, and then the death of her 13-month-old baby really pushed her over the edge, and I don't know if she'll ever come back to the person she was because the sexual abuse from childhood has really split her off and damaged her so badly. And I keep her daily in my prayers. And, that'll be another book, but I will keep it PG on some of the stuff. But I'm dissecting my life, and I'm hoping that my life can be an example to others that even if you have been through some severe abuse, like I have been traumatized all my life, but I am going to fight with every breath I've got. I'm going to empower myself with every breath of my being. And I'm going to make it through this with God's help. God has seen me through a lot. And see, when I was born, a little bit more about me. I was born premature. Me and my twin sister, we weighed 3 pounds. We were not expected to live. But God has got me for a purpose. And honey, I'm going to pedal all the way down my life path. I'm going to make it. I might stumble and I might fall with triggers of panic attacks, but I'm going to make it through the grace of God. I'm going to make it. And I know there's a lot of people going through probably worse than what I went through. My childhood was pretty severe, and my adulthood was kind of crappy too. But I'm telling you, if I can make it, I know there's hope for you out there. And I appreciate everybody that gives me a thumbs up and that subscribes because I'm talking about some real deep subjects. This well is real deep on the subject matter because it's it's difficult to talk about, and a lot of people don't talk about it. And just like this sexual abuse going on in the Me Too movement, a lot of young folks do not understand why these women are suddenly coming forth with the sexual allegations of Bill Cosby and this one and that one. Now I don't know if these guys are innocent or not, but I'm just going to say my piece and say what I feel. I don't know if they sexually abused these people. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I'm kind of neutral there. But the reason these ladies are coming out of the woodwork now saying what happened to them, if it did happen, and I'm one that I'm all for reporting things, that are wrong. If you're sexually molested or raped, or you're sexually harassed, I'm all for, hey, that's not right for that to be done. And the reason that they're coming forth now in my generation, and I'm 53 years old, and I think this needs to be said why they kept quiet. A lot of them, if they were drugged, okay, and I'm saying if, and I do believe a lot of the stories, we were taught, and I was born in 1964, so y'all know my age. Hey, Amy. Hey, girl. Hey, hey. Hey, I wanted to say I gave you a shout out, and I was talking about what the paranormal, Amy, right? Or April. I'm bad with the names. I get y'all two mixed up. I don't know why. But I gave you a shout out about us meeting up, and I told people that they need to check your channel out. Hey, the more the merrier on our trip. So I was talking briefly about that. So I do hope you'll catch this video in its entirety, Amy. And sorry about that, Amy. I suck with names. And I've been talking a lot about grief, grieving an abusive ex, which a lot of you people know that my daughter's biological father just passed away. My daughter was in the room when he died. He was asking to see her. And as soon as I got word that he wasn't going to make it through, and a lot of people would say, I wouldn't spit on him if he was on fire. He abused you, Carly. You don't owe him a darn thing. But I am compassionate, and he is a human being. He made mistakes as well as I did. He was broken. But at the same time, I wanted my daughter to have closure. Mine and Kentucky Ranger's daughter. Hey, Amy, Kentucky Ranger's birthday is coming up, girl. And I was hoping that I could take him to his favorite restaurant, Outback, but I just can't afford it. So maybe I'll have to do something to him for him next month because we're having it tight. And I even put our p.o.box 156 Stanton, Kentucky. And if y'all want to send him a birthday card, I'm sure he would love it. If y'all want to send him a Outback Steakhouse card, I'm sure he would love that even better. Wink, wink. Now, I'm not begging y'all. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, that's his favorite restaurant. If y'all wanted to do something a little special for him, but I've been talking about grief, and Victoria Victoria saw him pass away. Me and Kentucky Ranger, we stayed out in the car because, out of respect, I know how a lot of them feel about me. They hate me because of what he has said. I didn't want to cause any problems. I'm all about no drama, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube. But I have been under attack by some of his family members and some of my family members. Yesterday, I had it out with my twin sister because she was throwing down on me about, I need to be more compassionate for, don't let Victoria forget his side of the family and their heritage. And uh, my sister doesn't understand that I haven't let my daughter forget her bloodline heritage because they are important also. They and my sister, I know who she's listening to. It's one of his nieces, and she's a trouble starter, as they say. And she was trying to gaslight me all day yesterday, and finally I had enough of her, and I blew up at her. And I dearly love my twin sister, and I finally told her, I said, "You don't understand. I have never let our daughter forget the bloodline family, the family, all of the family. Because if anybody truly, truly knows me, they knows I'm compassionate, regardless that our relationship was done. I am compassionate enough. I would never keep my daughter from their side of the family. but I have warned my daughter about certain individuals because I know a lot of skeletons in their closet, and some of the family members I've warned Victoria to stay away from because there's sexual molestation in some of the men in their side of the family, and I have warned Victoria stay away from some of them. And I protect my daughter. I'm like a grizzly bear mama, and I believe in telling my daughter the truth. But also, I believe that she has a right to love them as well because not all of them are bad. But for the predators in the family, that they've kept the abuse under wraps and not warned other family members that shouldn't have children around those certain ones. And I do speak out on sexual abuse of children. I do. I mean, you want to get me fired up? I get fired up on that subject because I believe in protecting the young because I wasn't protected as a child, and I'll do anything in my power to protect children because we got to speak out about this kind of stuff. I'll never slander his side of the family because there's some awesome family members that I dearly, dearly love, and I dearly loved his mom. But at the same time, there's some I tell my daughter to be very cautious of in the family that they're not good people. Some of them. I mean, I'm talking about the abusers, and I feel like I have the right to speak out on that because I know personally firsthand that some of them has got some bad stuff in their background, and I just warned my daughter, but she has the right to love their side of the family and love him too, my ex. Uh, but as soon as I got the word, and uh, he was saying what a bitch I was. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't like to use words like that, but what I was because I took his daughter from him, and he didn't want to be a part of her life. But at the same time, I still have compassion, and I'm talking about the grieving process I'm going through. You might go through grieving an abusive ex. I feel relief. I do because I know he'll never stalk me again. He'll never find me again. He'll never hurt me again emotionally or physically. Although now Kentucky Ranger, he 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 is very protected. He's worse than a grizzly bear. He's three grizzly bears put together for me and Victoria, and he would never allow my ex to hurt me in any way if I was to bump into him. But at the same time, I'm writing about that type of grief that you go through. And I'm surprised some of the feelings I've felt about the situation, uh, what I've gone through. And it's difficult because, it's like it's a catch 22. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. And believe me, you can't please all of the family members. You can't please them all. So you've got to do your best to heal. Heal you, heal your family, heal your, if you have children, heal your children. Because, they're going to be broken individuals if you don't try to help them heal. And I have learned from life lessons to try to help others because it's not easy what I've been through. It's not easy what other people has been through as far as domestic violence and grief. It's not easily uh, to get through it. It's not, and there's no perfect answer because I don't have any answers. I just know what I've been through. Maybe some of the words and things I speak about, the subjects I'm very passionate about. I'm passionate about empowering yourself as a woman, as a young man or young woman, whichever you are. Empower yourself. And I've learned different ways to handle things such as domestic violence. When you're going through that, well, how do you tell them you're leaving? You don't, because that is the most critical time of a person's life, leaving domestic violence. And a lot of times it's best to carry on your day if you're thinking about leaving. gather your important documents such as your social security card, your children's social security cards, important documents. Keep them always packed up in a little duffel bag somewhere that they wouldn't find it. Even if you have to take it over to your mom's house for safekeeping, just in case for that day that you want to get out with your kids. And it's I call it a safety plan because if you say like your ex's name, let's use as an example Roy. Roy, I'm leaving you. I'm tired of you beating me. I'm tired of your emotional abuse. I'm tired of you being drunk all the time, raising sand. I'm just tired of you busting up the house. I'm tired of you acting a fool. Take your kids with you, but don't confront them. Do not confront them. And this is what I did. I waited until he went to work, and he trusted my landlady, and she confronted me one day about the abuse. God sent her to me to help me get out. I was 36 years old. She said, Carla, you're in an abusive relationship. I couldn't admit it. I was so in shame. I felt so guilty for staying in such a relationship. I couldn't even say the words, I'm in a domestic violence relationship. I couldn't even say it. I was so full of shame. But I was so beat down emotionally. You could have kicked me and I would have just fell over and let you just kick the crap out of me. I was that beat down. And people that are emotionally abused are so battered down emotionally and physically, they can't leave. And that's what the abuser intends on. Whether they beat the person or they emotionally abuse them. And let me tell you, when you're emotionally abused, you have no self esteem. He would constantly tell me, well, you're big as a house. You got a butt. And he would say the other words, the really tacky word. Well, your butt's as big as a barn. And I can remember you when you were 110 pounds and now you're 180. You're such a fatty. You're this, you're that. And constantly belittling. It takes a toll on your psyche, it takes a toll on your spirit, on your soul, where you can't leave. And he used to tell me, where would you be without me? I took you away from your mommy and daddy, and I took you to raise. And he would say that to people. He would flat out say, why do you tell somebody you take somebody to raise? I was 16 years old, and they groom their victim, they groom them emotionally. They might slap you before you get married or before you move in with them, and then they reveal who they truly are because they put that mask on of, well, let me pick these clothes out for you because you're that stupid that you can't dress like the way I want you to. Nobody has the right to treat you like you're a child. Do they need to buy your clothes for you? And that's part of the psychological control and abuse. And I write all about that in my books. So, you guys, it's a hard battle, and people don't understand that when you're emotionally abused for 20 years, it starts out emotionally, but it gets physical. Right at the 10-year mark, it started getting physical. And believe me, people that stay, they stay for financial reasons. They stay because they've been bullied and beat down. Well, ain't nobody going to want you with 3, 4 kids. Nobody going to want you because you're fat. And it's over and over and over being told you're worthless. You mean nothing. You deserve how I treat you. It's all your fault that I have to slap you or push you because you're that stupid. And that's breaking of somebody's spirit. My spirit got broke just by those words over and over and over. And I write some of the other stuff. He dehumanized me, but I still have the compassion to speak positively about my ex. And I'm calling him Roy. That's not his real name. And people just don't understand until they truly walk through those shoes of 20 years. It's painful when you go through that. And people that really haven't been through it don't understand it. Maybe people are in denial that don't understand it, but it's very difficult to get out of that situation. I was 18 years old, barely legal. Amen, honey. I was jailbait. I was 16 when I left with this 27-year-old man. How many people would let their kids leave with a 27-year-old man, and your daughter is 16 years old and she wants to drop out of high school? I'm going to tell you right now, if that were my daughter, honey, me and Kentucky Ranger would have went to Texas and we would have got her behind and said, it ain't happening. We'd have brought the sheriff in on it and we would have went and got her. But see, my dad, when I wanted to come home at 17 years old, I said, Daddy, the relationship with Roy isn't working, Daddy. Can I come home? I begged and I begged. My daddy says, Carla, you made your bed. You wanted to be an adult and play adult games, you know? Exactly. Society at the time, yeah. And I was also taught you didn't speak about if you were going through abuse. We didn't talk about those things. Remember, guys, in the 60s, people didn't say if a girl was pregnant out of wedlock. Nowadays, it don't matter. You know, nowadays society, it's okay to be pregnant out of wedlock, and I'm not throwing down on that kind of thing because I was pregnant out of wedlock also because me and Roy were not married. So I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. I'm just making a statement that people in those days were very, very rigid and judgmental, and I believe that, we've got to start talking about these subjects. It is, amen, Rosie. It's a very, very taboo subject. There's a lot of subjects that's taboo. Have you guys noticed that the taboo subjects, anybody about my age born in the 60s or before the 60s, anybody remember that there's so many taboo subjects you didn't talk about uh, husband abusing their wife. Oh, they had this idea that, oh, she's his property. The kids are the husband's property. Now, can I get an amen on that? That was how society viewed spousal abuse. Because, like my mother in law, her husband, Mondays with mom, she was abused. Her husband definitely, he beat her and beat Kentucky Ranger and his sister, and she couldn't call the police because society had this, well, you're the property of your husband. Oh, that can't be so. Just like if a husband raped a wife back then, well, that's his marital obligation to take what's his, and that's the way society is. We've got to change how we raise our children. And that's why I've empowered my daughter, Victoria. Y'all keep her in your prayers also because her biological dad dying, she was right there when he died of cancer. Pray for her, remember her because she's taking it pretty hard. She's trying to be strong, but I told her, I said, baby, me and Kentucky Ranger, we're here for you. And she spent the day with us yesterday, and she's going through a lot right now, and I'm going through some roller coaster myself, you know. Yeah, exactly, Rosie. My ex was 11 years older. Amen, Sharon. And see, if you sit down and think about the dynamics of your ex's family, did his dad beat his mom? How was their situation? And when a young man's mom and dad are having domestic violence and having just a toxic relationship, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's see, prayers for. Yes. Please keep my daughter Victoria in your prayers. I appreciate that, Rosie. Appreciate that. Yeah. I was born in 64. So, things were totally different. Men owned their wives, almost like slavery. And you could say it that way because no problem, Rosie, no problem, honey. We were back in the day raised to believe whatever the husband said, you better follow and obey. But we've got to change how we treat our spouses, and we've got to change and empower our young folks. We've got to show them by our example that abuse is not right, abuse of any kind. And I don't care. It goes both ways. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Abuse and violence is not good. It's wrong to be abusive to somebody. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do some of my videos. I know I don't do a lot of live streams, but I want people to know you're not alone, guys. You are not alone. I appreciate everybody that's in the stream. I'm not seeing who all's coming in, but welcome everybody. Everybody, welcome that's come in. We're all family here. Whether you've been through abuse, whether you know somebody that's been through abuse, we're all family here and we're all supportive. And I want you to know you're not alone. You have a friend in me. And I'm taking the courage. It's been hard writing these books about domestic violence. Let me tell you, it's not the easiest thing in the world. And my second book, Bruises from Without and Within, it's due out anytime. And what I plan to do is make a difference in this world, or at least put my thumbprint on America's hearts. Because you know what? We're all human and we all need love and healing. And I think that's what my life purpose is. Yes, the viewpoints have changed amounts. And um, I do mean, yes, yes. Things have. Thank you for your prayers, Sharon. God bless you, honey. Um, the things have changed in this world, and we got to change this for the positive. And I don't believe in rioting, but I do believe in speaking out. If you've been sexually harassed, speak up about it. And in fact, in this current book being published, Bruises from Within, I speak about being sexually harassed. And we were taught when we were younger, shh, you don't talk about stuff like that. If Uncle so and so molested you, shh. Well, maybe you're misunderstanding the situation. Maybe it really didn't happen that way. And they program you to doubt yourself. Did it really happen? Oh, no, honey, it couldn't have happened. Uncle so and so, he just loves you to pieces. He's always bringing you gifts, and I've heard stuff like that. But when you have sex with a child, it's absolutely wrong, and you should be thrown under the jail. You should be prosecuted. But I'm talking as far as example, because a lot of times we're taught not to speak about subjects like that. We're taught not to speak about our dirty laundry. How many times have you heard women in your family, older women, such as mothers and grandmothers that were born in the 50s and 60s and before, says, well, you shouldn't put your dirty laundry out there. You shouldn't put your dirty laundry out there. But let's see. Sadly, I have to run. Okay, Rosie, God bless you, honey, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Um, yes, yes. I'm so sorry, Sherry, for what you've been through. Thank you, Rosie. God bless you. Much love to you. Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate everybody in here. And if you can, spread the word about this video. Share this video on YouTube or wherever you want to share it. let's get the word up about domestic violence and grief, and we need to just sit down and talk about it. you know let's talk about it. Like the song goes, let's give them something to talk about. Well, let's talk about something peacefully that is bad, but we've got to have resolution to it. We've got to have some way to solve this problem, domestic violence. And it starts in childhood. Our parents are our first teachers, guys. He even said to my parents, my dad, well, I'm so fortunate. Yeah, yeah. That is that is very degrading, Shannon. That is very degrading when somebody says to you, "Look what I've done for you. You'd be nothing without me." And see what that is? That is a way of shaming you and abusing you emotionally, because uh, they're basically telling you, you are what I have made you to be. You know, uh, it's just absurd. To tell somebody that. Why should love have a price tag like that? A price tag of abuse and control, manipulation. They're good at manipulating you, the abusers. But you can get out, and there is hope, guys. There is hope. You're not alone. Know that you're not alone. A lot of women may not, and men for that matter, because men are battered also, they may not talk about domestic violence. But at the same time, I'm telling you, there is hope. There is hope through God's help, prayer. There's programs out there to help you. See, I never knew that there were women's shelters. I was 36 years old. This was 2001. I never knew that they were safe houses for women to go to. Yeah, I did. I fought back too. I did too. And I got physical with him. Yeah, I got physical with him. There's some stories about my abusive relationship that I didn't uh, put in the book because I was too afraid. But who knows? Maybe I may put that stuff in the next book that I'm working on, Healing from Within, because now I'm not scared, because he's dead and he can't come after me for what I write, the truth. And I know a lot of people may not agree with me putting my dirty laundry out there, but you know what? It's it's the truth, and I can back all of this up. I've got facts that I was in a domestic violence shelter with my daughter for 6 months. It's nothing slanderous, and I feel free because he's dead. That I can breathe. I feel such relief, and it's not an easy thing that I've had to endure, but at the same time, I believe it's true what everybody says. You know, what don't break you makes you stronger. God doesn't give you any more than you can handle. And there's a time or two that I have felt my plate running over when my dad found out. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I hear you. See, in some families, like my family, I didn't have any help from the women in my family about the childhood sexual abuse. I didn't have them looking out for me. Uh, uh, a situation happened when I was a teenager. I was talking to this young man, and he was 19, and I was 14. And he sexually assaulted me. Him and I were just walking around talking, and he sexually assaulted me. And I ran to my grandmother's with my top torn off of me. And the thing that my grandmother said to me, it really cut to the quick. She said, Well, what color of panties were you wearing? She blamed me because he sexually assaulted me. And, you never shame and blame the victim. And that's what makes me mad when people put it out there and take the person that sexually molested or raped, just like what they're doing with the Cosby stuff. They're shaming the victims. And that, I'm sorry, but that's not right. They put the victim on the stand. They put them on review. Well, look at this. Well, look at that. And they bring up, what if the girl is a stripper? What if the girl, prostituted? Does it make it right to rape her? Does it make it right to drug her? So, it's twisted how society does things, cuz look at the Cosby situation. Look at the Weinstein situation. They are, and I grant you there's probably some of the girls that's doing this for getting their 5 minutes of fame or whatever reason they're doing this for the agenda. I don't know. But is all of the victims just doing this for, whatever agenda that the liberals has set up. You know, I don't know if all of this happened to all of them. I don't know. I'm just putting this out there, and this is just strictly my opinion. And there may be one or two that's exaggerating or it didn't happen to, but there are victims that it did happen to. And I just don't understand society that they put the victim, through such scrutiny. How about let's focus on the facts? Why are you bringing up their past? And I do understand why they bring up the victim's past, a lot of it. But at the same time, I think it's unfair to do that. Why would somebody slip something in a young person's drink, a roofie or whatever, to have sex with them? Why would they get them drunk just to have sex with them? And when you can't properly consent as if you were sober, I'm sorry, that's rape. That's rape in my book. My ex got me drunk and raped me when I was 16. And so there it started. And I was too stupid. I didn't understand that it was rape. I was 16 years old, and I didn't understand that was rape because he got me so totally drunk. But see, when I was sober, I told him I didn't want to have sex until marriage. But he raped me, and you know what he said when I confronted him? I said, "You raped me. I didn't consent to having sex with you. I told you no." And he says, "Well, can't take it back now." Really? You know what I mean? And people, that are assaulted or touched improperly, we need to talk about this. And right now, it's almost like it's so overwhelming, but at the same time, hi Lily. Here's Miss Lily, guys. Let me see if I can show you Miss Lily. Oh, my body. She keeps Lily, Lily mine. Say hi to everybody. Lily, Lily. She wanted to say hi. And it's, my story about a lot of the abuse that I went through. I'm stronger. I'm healing, and I heal daily. But I'm doing well, I think. But my abusive childhood and adulthood, the domestic violence I suffered, doesn't define me, nor does it define you, what you have been through. And it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to press charges. It's okay to protect yourself. It's okay to protect your children. It's okay to heal because we have that right. We have that right. All of us do. And I do think that young men do not Creep face. A lot of young men don't report if they've been battered by a spouse or a life partner. They don't report it. And I understand the stigma of that. And the stigma goes both ways. But abuse is abuse, guys. So, what do you guys think about what I'm talking about? Any more comments? Any questions? Any thoughts? Um, I'm just what you see. Uh, I'm genuine. I'm me. I'm not fancy. I'm not special. My story is, it could be your story, and you have a right when you decide to speak up about your story. You have that right. You have the right to speak the truth. The truth will set you free. Now, where did that verse come from? The truth will set you free. And you know what? Me writing about my abuse, it's been difficult, but I'm going to tell you what, it has helped me heal so much. I don't know that I'll ever be totally healed 110%, but let me tell you what, I have got a wonderful outlook on life because I know I'm not alone. I've got God every day. Even though I didn't have women supporters, I didn't have strong women to support me with what I was going through. Honey, I was on my own, and it taught me at the age of 14 when I got date raped that my grandmother says, Carla, what color panties did you wear? Really? And I looked at my grandmother. I never ever cursed in front of my grandmother because we were raised very religiously to be respectful. We were raised Pentecostal, and we were raised never to raise your voice at an elder. You always respect them regardless. And I looked at her and I said, Granny Ruth, what the hell does my color of panties got to do with me being assaulted and raped? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? And I was 14 years old. And from that moment, God spoke to me and said, Carla, honey, you got to walk this path on your own. And I never knew how true those words were until I started walking the path of domestic violence as well. And you know what? If I can walk it with God, I'm healing, and I know you can find healing. And guys, you're not alone with what you're going through. I know what you're going through. And who better to talk about it than me? Because I tell you why. I've been through it. I thought about being a domestic violence counselor, and I'm still thinking about that. But I would love to start a group on domestic violence, maybe on YouTube. Tell me what you guys think about that thought, about me becoming a domestic violence counselor. Do you think I'd make a good one? So just give me your thoughts. Try to be kind with the comments. A lot of boys and men are raped by women. Amen. Amen. And that's a subject that's, boy, that one is one that's really taboo. And people think that guys get over that. But you know what? They're human beings too. They're like us women. They hurt too, they have pain. And anybody that we know that's been through any kind of sexual abuse, physical abuse. Good for you, Carla. Yeah. We we need to start a domestic violence group. What's your thoughts on that? I'm thinking very seriously about it. I'll get Kentucky Ranger to help me out, and I'll run it past him, and maybe get a group started, get everybody's opinion on it, uh, where people can meet like a Alcoholics Anonymous, and maybe talk about, you know, if people feel comfortable talking about it, abuse, uh, because, you know, I want to help people like I've been helped. and I feel like my life lessons maybe can help somebody. Uh, it's not easy to talk about it, but you know what? With healing comes a little bit of pain. Because if anybody has broken an arm or leg, you know, when you're healing, there's going to be pain phases. And it's going to throb a little bit, that broken arm or broken leg, when it's healing. But you know what? When those bruises from the outside heal and the inside heal, it makes you stronger. And, you know, I just believe that we need to reach out to one another with love and most of all compassion. And leave the judgment outside, like you're leaving your shoes outside, the muddy shoes outside, because people are so broken and they need each other. We need each other. Those that have life lessons to share and help one another, we need to be there. We need to love others as God loves us. And this world, I think, would be a so much better place because there's so much evil out there, but there's also so much good out there. We've got to let our goodness shine like a bright light in the sky, guys, because God has brought us through so much. And believe me, there's joy. I'm happy as I can be. I've got a wonderful husband, KentuckyRanger. His birthday's coming up, you guys. His birthday's coming up. Uh, so I just had to add that in there again. But, I am blessed. I am so blessed. I praise God every day that I wake up. I'm not rich. I got enough to pay my bills. And I just praise God for a wonderful husband and all that He's blessed me with. He's blessed me with a voice strong and a heart that's good to bless other people, to talk to people, because people, when they're going through abuse and they're lonely, and maybe they're coping with alcohol, maybe they're coping with a little Xanax or a little something, to cope with life and its difficulties. Know that you're not alone, guys. It's hard to deal with this. So, y'all want to give me some feedback? Hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And if you know somebody going through domestic violence of any kind, reach out to them. Even if it's helping them get out, be there for them because you may need somebody to help you. God will always send you help. But when you know somebody is going through domestic violence, don't bully them and don't say, well, you could leave if you wanted to. Maybe honestly they can't. Maybe they can't leave because of fear. I've been there. I done that. I know. I didn't know how to drive a car. I had a daughter. You don't realize what fear does to a person in domestic violence. Fear keeps you in a cell chained to the abuser. It's time to break these chains. It's time to reach out. We got to, guys. We've got to love one another and reach out to each other. Because you know what? We can make this a better place. Like the song goes, we can make it a better place, and we can. We just got to try. And there's somebody out there that may be so depressed and feeling so helpless and hopeless. I sent you. Okay, okay, got you, Sharon. Okay, I will add you because now Sharon, I got two Facebook page. Okay, and I'm going to type it in. This is my other Facebook page. Okay, and feel free to add me. Just private message me. Um, that's my Facebook page, Carla Mangold Reeves. So I got both Facebook pages, okay? So if you want to add me, private message me. hey, we were on YouTube and I'm one of your YouTube friends. Because most of the time I ignore people asking me to be their friend. And I also write on the Carla Reeves uh, Facebook page about my book coming out. So, anyway, just send me a little note with it, private message me. Hey, I'm from YouTube. I've listened to your live streams and stuff, and I'll add you. And, you know, I just think that God has put me here to help others. Um, I'm not a perfect person, but I've certainly been through it, and I understand not having any money, not having any family. Uh, it's so hard to leave. I got out of marriage and family of virgin. Uh huh. Yeah. And I want you to know if you should go back to that abuser, the abuse is going to be 10 times as worse. So if you get out, stay out. But most of all, take your children with you. And if anybody needs any information on getting out, if anybody has an old cell phone, keep that battery charged up because every cell phone has the capability of dialing 911. And if all else fails, donate your old cell phones to domestic violence shelters. I try to do that with my old cell phones because they will refurbish those cell phones and they will give them to the domestic violence women in the women's shelters. And that's how I learned about cell phones and giving them to the domestic violence shelters. And they do refurbish them. They erase all of the stuff, the info and stuff that you've had on them. And all cell phones, even if they don't have minutes on it, if they're the ones that you buy the minutes for, folks, I don't know if you know, but donate your old cell phones to domestic violence shelters. It may help save a life. It helped me when I was in the domestic violence shelter. They gave out to all of us women 911 cell phones. And you keep them on you, you keep them charged up. So if your ex finds you and stalks you, you can call 911 on any old cell phone. So I do keep all cell phones and then I donate them. Me and Kentucky Ranger, we do a lot of donations to the domestic violence shelter in Kentucky, Doves, and there's other domestic violence shelters. When you see the domestic violence shelters at your grocery stores, give to them because there's women that needs uh, diapers for their babies, deodorant. Sometimes you can't afford much, but what Kentucky Ranger and I always do for Doves in Kentucky, it's a domestic violence shelter. I believe in either Lexington or Ashland, Kentucky. What we do, we will go shopping. We'll take their list that they have, and we have uh, the list, and we buy the things that they need. They also need money. Sometimes they need uh, sanitary products, shaving cream, shampoos, soaps, diapers. So if you can, if God has blessed you enough to go ahead and donate to them. So anyway, I just think, oh, I'm buffering. Ooh, I just believe that uh, people need help. Okay, good deal, good deal. It's okay. As soon as I get back on my Facebook, I will uh, add you as a friend. But I want to tell you guys there is hope, there is help, and I'm on Facebook. If anybody needs any advice, I'm there. Uh, if anybody just wants to simply chat about abuse, I can give you numbers where they can direct you and help. And anyway, you guys, I want to say I thank you all so very much. Um, okay. See the ad, but okay. Well, I will. Um, well, I'm not gonna add it on the stream, but I want everybody to know there is help and there is hope through domestic violence. And I want to say I thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for the thumbs up and the support. If you know somebody going through domestic violence, please try to reach out to them. You may not know what to do, you may not have the money to help them, but be there, an ear for them to listen. Do whatever you can to help because you could save a life. You could save a little child's life as well. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. I know this has been a lengthy one. I've enjoyed it with everybody. So if you can, share this on your Facebook. Uh, Share this with people that you love. Okay. Oh, okay. I will, if you can send, Sharon, if you can send me a Facebook ad or type in your Facebook, I will add you as a friend. If you'll add your name, is it just Sharon O'Brien? Just uh, add your name in the chat, and that way I can. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely connect. We certainly will. But if anybody knows anybody going through domestic violence, please reach out and touch them because you could save a life today. And every person is worth saving and loving most of all. Most of all, show each other compassion because there is hope and there is help. I hope my video has helped. Uh, Maybe you might be feeling alone and you stumble across my video, but know that you're not alone. God loves you. I love you, and you can make it because I did. Okay? I appreciate everybody. Much love. I love you for tuning in. And remember, me and my sister in law and I, Cherie Carpenter, it's in the chat, her name. Check her channel out. Next Tuesday, her and I are going to be talking about this very subject, grieving your ex of abuse. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you. I know it's been a long video, and maybe somehow, some way, God's given me the correct words to touch somebody's heart and soul. And I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Much love. God bless. Have a blessed day. And remember, I love you and God loves you. There is hope and there is help. Bye, guys.